Hello, everybody. Welcome to Comic Kid Guru, Episode 2, with your host, Comic Kid Guru. The day of this recording is Friday, August 4th, 10 p.m. We are going to be discussing some good amount of things this time. Nothing really new in movies or television for that matter, but however, in gaming and in collectibles, we have somewhat to tell. And a little bit of personal today. I guess to start it off, recently, this has been a very busy week for me, and it's particularly my house. This was kind of weird. I mean, what is it, Tuesday? No, it was Sunday, this past Sunday. My air conditioning broke down right in the middle of the night, so I had to sleep with no AC, and that is terrible because my fans kept making a lot of noise, and it was a very hot and sweaty night. Thankfully, that morning, we were able to get it fixed. Things have been pretty stagnant through the week with my house and everything. Nothing really new happening, nothing breaking down, nothing happening. I want to say, Thursday. Okay, it's Thursday. No. Was it Thursday? Wednesday. My apologies. Wednesday night, I'm sitting down and playing a game. And I noticed this weird, vibration, it was a very distinct noise. It was something unlike, and it sounds kind of like how sometimes my dad's movies sound with the soundbar. So I thought, my dad's watching a movie with the soundbar on, it must be pretty good. I'm going to go see what he's watching. I go in and I notice my mom's asleep and my dad's in the bathroom. So, what the hell's making the noise? I don't think too much of it, maybe a car. And then I notice my washing machine, is coming from the laundry room. So I'm thinking, okay, let's see how this goes. I'm going to go check because my dad always tells me, beware of the sounds, whatever, make sure that there's always the same noise coming from the same area. You know what I mean? No different sounds or anything. And this was a very different sound from what I'm used to coming out of that room. So I go in to check and, nothing's different, but I notice the washing machine isn't on. And it's the washing machine that usually makes noises like that. I look down. There is a giant puddle of water. My laundry room got flooded. It was pretty terrible. Water was gushing out of the pipe and everything. It actually turns out my pipe broke. My water line pipe leading into there had broken. It was terrible. I rushed to wake my mom up. She was dead asleep. I mean, I had to rush to get her up because my dad was in the bathroom. She didn't have her glasses on. She rushes. And she's, immediately tells me, start, sweeping out the water and everything. So I'm going like a madman, sweeping out the water with a mop and a broom, like dual-handed. And then my mom runs back immediately to go get my dad out of the bathroom. I have never seen her run so fast in her life. And that is not a criticism to my mother. We usually, us babies, never run very fast. We just walk very quickly. So my dad comes and it's just pouring. We have to toss everything out, and a lot of some of the stuff got damaged in water, so we had to toss everything out. Thankfully, it was right there where the back door is, so it was pretty easy to get everything out. But, we had to move the washing machine and everything, and at one point, we had to get the water hose and pulled it in there, and we had to hold the broken pipe next to the water hose to try to keep the water from going. Okay, I had remained somewhat dry, with the exception of my feet at this point. But when I went in there to do that, I had noticed before I had gotten the pipe and everything, the multiple plug thing, and I get worried. I'm like, what if this, carries an electrical current through the water? I mean, we're barefoot in this, So I go and I rush without thinking. I just rush to pick it up. Needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. I go to pick it up, and nothing happens at first. But I'm trying to move it quick, and the wires, of course, are getting tangled. And, I'm trying to move it, and I get electrocuted by my left hand. I'm like, it was terrible. It was one of the worst feelings, and it honestly scared me. It terrified me. I don't know if any of you guys have ever been electrocuted before, but this one was pretty bad, being the fact that I was both wet and that was a big outlet plug. So that one was terrible. Anyways, back to the hose. So I'm bringing the hose into the house, connected to the pipe somewhat. It's not, it doesn't even connect. It's just to hold it there to keep the water from coming out. And so I'm having to hold, I'm dry, electrocuted, not having a good time. My dad's telling me, okay, you're going to have to hold it like this and stuff. I'm going to let go. I'm just going to be like, okay, I can do this. That thing gushes out so much I mean, it was terrible. The thing was like opening a fire hydrant. All the water immediately just spurts out at me, and I'm over there having to hold it so much terribly. It was terrible, you know. But of course, Inner Willis came out, and I was able to contain it. And by that time, I had to keep going back and forth because my dad was trying to fix it. I had to keep going back and forth, because the water main to turn it off and on is all the way in the front yard. Okay, I have maybe about, I want to say, an acre of land. So, and my house is all the way in the back. So I have to keep going from the back of the house all the way to the front where the street is. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth to turn it off and turn it on and whatnot. And it was a pain. In the span of about 3 hours, I became the world's second water fighter. The first being my dad, since he's actually the one who fixed it. So that kind of, thankfully everything's fixed now, but that was a pretty big experience. I mean, I've been playing some new games recently. Last week, I don't know if you recall me talking about Dark Souls. I got stuck on the Taurus Demon. I discussed it all. If you want to hear it, check out my last week's podcast. So, I had money, and I heard Dark Souls 3 is better, and it looks better, and I wanted to try it. It's the only Dark Souls game I haven't tried besides Demon Souls and Bloodborne, which Bloodborne isn't part of the Dark Souls series. So, technically, I've tried all of them except for Demon Souls. Dark Souls 3, to me, is nothing like Dark Souls 1, and definitely nothing like Dark Souls 2, because Dark Souls 2 sucked. Dark Souls 3 is fun. I'm having a lot of fun with it. The satisfaction you get from defeating even the simplest boss is just rewarding. You get so much satisfaction out of it, and it's great to it's so rewarding to explore in the world. There's really no linear path for you to go. I mean, you explore for different routes and different everything, and you can find optional bosses, mini bosses, anything. I mean, it's really something new, and it's very, very fun. But it is still challenging. Don't get me wrong. It's a very, very challenging game. If you're up to the challenge, you will enjoy it. If you're not, you're going to hate the game. But so far, I haven't gotten stuck in any parts like the Taurus Demon. I mean, I was stuck on that Taurus Demon for months. But now I'm actually stuck on one of the hardest parts of the early game. The Cathedral of the Deep. I'm very close to fighting the Deacons of the Deep. Something like that. I'm very close to fighting them, so I want to get through this. And right after this podcast, actually, I'm going to go back and I'm going to try it again, because I am determined to finish this Dark Souls game. You hear me? I am determined to finish the Dark Souls game. I will finish Dark Souls 3. And it's the Fire Fades edition, so it comes with a 2 DLC, additional DLC, which is pretty cool. So I got through that, and then earlier today, actually, I told you I was going to do this. I went back into the first Dark Souls, because Dark Souls 3 was annoying me. I went back into the first Dark Souls. That Taurus Demon is no more. I told you, people. I told you one day you were going to hear me come on this podcast and say that the Taurus Demon was defeated. The Taurus Demon is defeated, and I'm literally maybe 5 minutes after that, and I stopped playing out of, I guess you could say, fright to lose everything, because I got my humanity back. I was able to kindle the flames, and now I have 10 Estus flasks instead of 5, and I'm happy. That bastard is defeated. I am victorious. Okay, so that pretty much sums up Dark Souls. I mean, nothing really new. The narrative for Dark Souls, that's all my friends have been asking me. Well, what's the story of Dark Souls? You know what the story of Dark Souls is? You pick up the controller and you try playing the damn game. That's basically the story. The game doesn't focus on story. I mean, really, there is lore to it, but you got to talk to the characters, and you have to read scripts, and, you got to be up to learning it, It's not thrown at you like Elder Scrolls or The Witcher or anything like that. It's a very, very hidden lore, and I kind of like that. It focuses more on the gameplay and the atmosphere and the world that you get put into. So it's a very, very interesting game. Is it the hardest game? It certainly is the hardest game I have ever played. When I was younger, I found games hard, naturally, because, I really didn't play that many games. I played games, but to me, every new game was kind of difficult in its own way. Now, I've had, there's difficult levels in games, still, and there's, those hard parts or hard missions and anything, objectives. But really, no game has really challenged me anymore. Dark Souls challenges me. It really does. And the level of happiness, satisfaction, and adrenaline that pumps, when you're fighting the boss and after you defeat that boss, you can't match it with any other game. I'm sorry, but that is such a good feeling. A lot of my friends say, I don't have the patience for Dark Souls. I've never played Dark Souls. You have to have patience with this game. You have to go in knowing that you're going to die. You're going to die a lot. If it's especially your first one, you're going to die a lot, okay? I mean, it's no rodeo. It's very, very, very difficult and challenging, but it is a fun game once you get the hang of it. The thing is, you have to get good, okay? It's not just a game you pick up and you start playing. No, you have to learn the enemy movements, the enemy attacks, the enemy patterns. Each enemy has a distinct pattern. You learn those patterns. The bosses have patterns. The game is all about patterns and learning them, okay? That's how you get good at Dark Souls. You have to learn when to dodge. You have to learn when to parry. You have to learn when you can heal, when you can go in for an attack. It's a very, very distinct fighting system, and it's really, really fun. And, it's not overly complicated at the surface, but when you really think about it, it's a pretty complicated game. Learning all the patterns of all the enemies and the bosses and everything. But it is a very, very fun game playing. I'm actually having fun with it. Finally. And the thing is also, don't rage at the game, dude. You'll have those moments where you want to throw the controller at your freaking TV, but just stop playing for a bit, collect your thoughts, play something else. It'll maybe, calm you down, then go back and get it. And I guarantee you'll get it. You'll be happy, and you know what? You can move on to the next section. It's just a waiting game, You got to play when you're calm, and you got to just remember, you're not the only one dying at this section. You're not the only one dying at that part. If you look up a YouTube video or walkthrough, you're watching people that have probably played the other Dark Souls games. You're watching people that have already played that game. They mastered it. They're veterans. If you're new to it, you're not going to be able to pick up the controller and immediately think, oh man, this guy is easy. Oh man, I can do this and just like him. Hell no. These guys are doing New Game Plus with their stats, and they know the game like the back of their hand. Which, then again, how well do we really know the backs of our hands? But you got to know that you'll get better. You'll get better. I didn't think I would get better at the game, but I did, and lo and behold, I'm enjoying the hell out of Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 1 also, but we don't talk about Dark Souls 2. I freaking hate Dark Souls 2. Maybe one day I'll try it again, but man, I hated that game. I would love to try Bloodborne. Sadly, I don't have a PlayStation 4. The only one that has a PlayStation 4 is my brother. And, it's no longer, oh, here, pop in a disc and you can play the game. No, you gotta install it and stuff, and he doesn't have that much space, so I gotta wait to try Bloodborne. But I'm very, very pleased with Dark Souls 3 so far. It's actually one of my favorite RPGs now. It's becoming that. And people always, whenever people think of RPGs, they think Elder Scrolls, Skyrim. Skyrim is, for lack of a better term, baby shit compared to Dark Souls. Okay, Skyrim has an amazing story. It has a really good story, great gameplay and everything. But it's an easy game, guys. All you guys, I've put this many hours into Skyrim. I've done this many quests. I nearly finished Skyrim 100%. Big deal. Do that about Dark Souls. You know what I mean? Let's see if you can do it in the same amount of time. You can't compare. You can compare the two because they're RPGs, but one's a narrative RPG and the other one's an action RPG. I mean, in my opinion, I love Dark Souls. I love Skyrim. Skyrim's one of my favorite games. But I love Dark Souls 3. It's pretty good. Another game I recently played because I don't know, I just got bored one night. And whenever I get bored, I always look at the free games thing or trials and stuff. But I look at the free games mainly because Telltale always, after a certain while, whether they finish the season, because Telltale Games, okay, to explain Telltale Games to those of you that don't know, they create narrative games, okay? The games they make are based off the decisions you make, It's not an action game, it's a narrative game. Okay, so it's mainly cutscenes and, Okay, click this button, click that button, click this button, quick time events, okay? But you choose what your character says. And judging by your actions and the choices you make, your story will unfold differently. So there's multiple endings, there's multiple routes, and there's multiple everything. A lot of replay value in them. And the thing is with them, you just don't buy the game and immediately you have the full game right there. No. You buy the game, and it comes with the first episode, and then you gotta wait monthly for the rest of the episodes to come out, and then you have a full narrative. Okay. And usually most of the time they do it seasons. Okay. I've played The Walking Dead season 1 because I don't like season 2, season 3, and the other one. Maybe I can give it a shot because I have season 2. I just don't have it installed. It was Games for Gold, free with Games for Gold at one point. But I played the first Walking Dead one. It was all right. I like Walking Dead the show, but Walking Dead the game, What else did I play? The Wolf Among Us. The Wolf Among Us is amazing. I highly recommend The Wolf Among Us. It's actually based off of the Fables comic book series done by, I don't actually know who wrote it. I don't know who wrote Fables, but it's based on a comic book. They've done Batman. I haven't played Batman. I have the first episode, but I haven't played it yet. The same for Game of Thrones. There's a Game of Thrones Telltale series, but I haven't actually played it. I have the first episode installed because I want to try it. But really, the only ones I've played is The Walking Dead Season 1 and The Wolf Among Us. Anyways, back on topic. So, I'm scrolling because I'm bored through the free game thing, and I notice Telltale makes a Minecraft story mode, okay? Anybody who knows Minecraft, there's no story mode. Well, Telltale took it upon themselves to create a story, a narrative, and everything, characters, for built in the Minecraft universe, okay? So, the first episode's free, and I figure, okay, the full story's out so far. Season 2's coming out. But there's a full story already and everything, so why not just give it a shot? Why not just give it a shot and see how it goes? I download it and I play, I downloaded it that night and I got bored and I went to sleep. Okay. Not because of the game, but just because I was tired. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. Anyways. So the following morning I wake up and I remember, oh wow, I installed it. I'm going to try it out. I ran through it like in an hour and a half and I honestly had a lot of fun with it. Minecraft story mode isn't bad. So I go out, ironically we went out that day, me and my mom. We went to Taco Bell, we went to go eat, but she had to go get stuff for my dad for work. She said, oh, I had money on me. So she's like, oh, do you want to stop by GameStop? I'm just like, okay. I originally wanted to stop because I was curious if they had a Dark Souls 3 strategy guide. I like collecting strategy guides, and I know you can look the stuff up online, but I'm old-fashioned. I like looking into the books and stuff, and I find it easier there because I can just read it at my pace and everything. And, there's illustrations, and it actually shows you the routes and everything. Anyways, plus I just like strategy guides. Anyways, so didn't have that, but I thought, I like the Minecraft story mode. I want to see where it goes. So I bought it and I finished 2 episodes that night. Ironically, the night that I became a water fighter, I was playing Minecraft story mode. So I finished it, and then the next day I finished it all. And you think, oh my god, it's Minecraft. It's gonna be kiddie. It's gonna be cheesy. It's gonna be boring. It's gonna be terrible. By no means is it terrible. It's very well done. Of course, it looks and feels just like Minecraft, pretty well. But the story itself is interesting. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm not going to go too much detail, but it's got enough things to keep a person my age interested. It's not kiddie. The humor is somewhat kid-like, but it's still kind of funny. It's still there, but it's not as humorous as you would think it is. It's more story-based, and it's kind of somewhat of a drama, and it's pretty good. I highly recommend it to those who just enjoy good stories, and those who just want like a good game here and there. It's one of Telltale's best, and honestly, it's one of my favorites. My favorite being The Wolf Among Us, but this is my second favorite Telltale game. So after this, this sadly only took me to episodes 1 through 5. Okay. There's 8 episodes in the first season, and then now they're releasing episodes for season 2. So I still need to play episodes 6 through 8, but so far, It's pretty good. So at some point, I'm gonna get episode 6 through 8. It's only like $10. I have $10, so I just need to get in and can play through it. And then try season 2 out whenever more episodes come out. But I highly recommend it. It's a very, very good game. And my friends were criticizing me for playing the game because it's Minecraft story mode. And I mean, I've played the Lego games. I'm 16 years old, and I play Lego Star Wars: The Force Awakens. I play Lego Star Wars: Complete Saga. I play Lego Pirates of the Caribbean, Lego Marvel Superheroes, and I'm gonna play the new Lego Marvel Superheroes too. I'm not ashamed. I enjoy playing games. I enjoy stories. I enjoy gameplay. I don't base everything on, oh, is it a kid game? Oh, is it a mature game? No, 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 no. It's like a video game, okay? The way that I've always seen video games is if you have fun in the game, then you enjoy the game and you think the game is good, okay? That's all the games are to me, okay? I mean, sometimes I really do critique games and stuff, but generally speaking, if I have fun with a game, I like the game. I play the game. Okay, I like some bad games, guys. Okay, I don't like the best games. Okay, what's an example? I guess you can count Call of Duty as an example. I mean, Call of Duty's been pretty bad recently with Infinite Warfare, but I got Infinite Warfare and I had fun with it. I had fun with the campaign. I don't agree with Call of Duty in space and shit, but it was pretty fun. It was a good space story. And it was kind of cool flying a ship. Had it not been a Call of Duty game, it would have been much better, in my opinion. But so far, it wasn't bad. I had fun with it. It's another game. I'm telling you guys, I like some bad games, but Minecraft is not a bad game. But I enjoyed it. So in my book, Minecraft Story Mode is a great game. If you just if you don't like that, then I'm sorry. I don't play games to critique them. I don't watch movies to critique them, okay? I critique them afterwards. I think about it afterwards, and then I give my opinion about it, okay? But I don't go into a movie going in, okay, you know what? I'm a critic. I'm going to critique this movie right as I'm watching it. Hell no, dude. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to watch a movie, and I'm going to enjoy the movie to the best of my ability. If I don't enjoy the movie, then I think it's a bad movie. If I do enjoy the movie, then I think it's a great movie. It's as simple as that. I like bad movies, guys. I like cheesy. You know what some of my favorite movies are? Sharknado. I love the Sharknado movies. All of you guys know they're bad. I don't care. I know they're bad, but they're so bad to the point to where it's hilariously funny. They're enjoyable to watch. They're entertaining also. I watched a cheesy Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, and Star Trek ripoff called Message from Space about the Liabi seed and stuff. Which, if you don't know, Message from Space is terrible. I mean, it's bad. I watch Ed freaking Wood movies. Ed Wood is a terrible director. He's the worst director of all time. I don't care who else you put up. The worst director of all time still remains Ed Wood. He created the biggest piece of crap in cinema history, Plan 9 from Outer Space. Watch the movie. You'll know what I'm talking about. But I like cheesy, guys. Cheesy story, cheesy anything. I like cheese. Every once in a while, you gotta have a slice of cheese in your life, or else you're just not living like Larry. But no, I don't look at things at a critiquing aspect. I just like having fun. You know what I mean? Will I critique stuff? Yeah, there's some stuff that I will critique, like Marvel movies or DC movies or Star Wars or Star Trek. I look deeply in that because I love those franchises. I'm very, very big into those. I know what I'm going into. I know what to expect, and a lot of times I may either come out disappointed or I will love it. And the disappointed mainly goes with, DC, because DC sucks, with the exception of Wonder Woman. So, I mean, a lot of my friends always kind of shut me out whenever I say I like a certain game. They're like, oh my god, you're so this. Oh, how can you like that game? It's simple. I had fun with it. How can you like that movie? It's simple. I had fun with it. I mean, seriously, you're gonna waste so much time of your life saying, okay, the movie was like this. Okay, it was made for idiots. It is this. It did not take itself seriously. Not all movies take themselves seriously, guys. There's some movies that if you look at, it is literally meant to be the worst movie of all time to be cheesy, to be funny. How do you think Sharknado is? Do you think they came up with Sharknado thinking, oh, this is going to be the greatest movie ever? Maybe with the first one, they made Sharknado thinking it was going to be good or something. But after that, they saw their praise and they saw it became a cult classic. Okay? They make them as cheesy as they can now, guys. Just accept it. A lot of people just don't realize that. The Green Inferno, if you watch the movie is meant to be an homage to cheesy horror movies, cheesy slasher movies. I love that, okay? I grew up with cheesy movies, dude. So I like it when, directors have the guts to say, you know what? I want to make a campy, cheesy, old-fashioned horror movie. Highly, highly risky thing to do, but I love it when they do that. So I like it when stuff sometimes doesn't take itself seriously. Not everything in life needs to be serious. Not everything needs to be dramatic or critiqued. That's just, my point of view on critics, Critics always go as a critic standpoint. Oh, it's like this. The movie was highly, highly terrible. There was no laughing value in it. The movie is dog shit. Okay. No, that's Jeremy John's, worst rating is dog shit. His highest being awesome-tacular. Now, I may look at critics to get a general gist of how the movie is, but a lot of times I don't agree with critics. I don't agree with friends. I have a very different taste in what I like. Okay, I'm very, very open-minded to music, to movies, to shows, to games, to anything. I'm very, very open-minded. Okay. So I guess that's kind of like my little rant on critiquing. I didn't actually plan this, but it worked out. What else is new? Good explanation of a movie that was critiqued terribly, but I enjoy. Actually, two. The Wolfman with Benicio del Toro. That movie got bashed. Doesn't have very good ratings. It is not a bad movie. In fact, it's one of the better Wolfman movies, okay? It's really pretty good. I enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one, though, whenever I look at Benicio del Toro, I think of a Latin or Latino version of Brad Pitt. Like, if he was in World War Z, a Spanish version, I'm pretty sure instead of Brad Pitt's line, Movimiento es vida, it would have been movement is life. Just wordplay. I don't know. That's one of the cheesy things I come up with my dad. Once again, I'm a very cheesy person. Another one is Daybreakers. I don't know if you ever saw if any of you have ever seen Daybreakers, but it is a vampire movie with Ethan Hawke, Willem Dafoe, and the main guy from Jurassic Park. It's a vampire movie about like a distant future where we've been overtaken by vampires and maybe only like less than 5% of the human population is left. And, there's there's blood companies, that support blood and whatnot. And the whole key is like the blood companies are trying to find a substitute. Well, Ethan Hawke's character is trying to, become human and whatnot. Like, he supports the humans and stuff, and he doesn't want, he's totally against the farming of human blood because they're like blood farmers. They use humans as, I guess you could say cattle. So that it's kind of like when we take milk from a cow, they take blood from humans. It's kind of like that. And, Willem Dafoe, it's pretty interesting, on vampires because it shows vampires going to human and whatnot. So it's kind of cool. And it's really not a bad movie. I mean, you may think also, that movie was critically bashed. How can you like that? It's not bad. It's got some good action, and it's got a pretty good story. It's very rare that you get a good vampire movie nowadays. Even what is it? Dracula Untold. It was a recent Dracula movie. That one wasn't bad. Neither was I, Frankenstein. I, Frankenstein was a pretty good action movie with the character Frankenstein. Victor Frankenstein was pretty good. Instead of focusing on Frankenstein, it's the scientist Victor Frankenstein, and Igor. What's another one? The Mummy with Tom Cruise was absolute garbage. That movie was terrible. I mean, you have some pretty cool references like The Creature from the Black Lagoon's Hand, or Dracula's Skull, or A Brain for Frankenstein, and whatnot. And even Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde comes out. It's Russell Crowe's character. Spoiler alert, but then again, who honestly cares for spoilers for that movie? But no, it was bad, and this is supposedly the Dark Universe. What the hell is that? I mean, are you seriously gonna try to do a DC Justice League and a Marvel Avengers type thing with monsters? The age of monsters is over, people. There's some good movies that I may find enjoyable, but once again, at a critic's standpoint, these movies are bad, guys. This time is over. I mean, it's like the giant monster movies with Godzilla or King Kong. As good as King Kong was, in my opinion, Kong Skull Island, that time's over. It's over, you know. That's why sometimes for me, Pacific Rim didn't work at first. I saw Pacific Rim and I hated it. I saw it again and I loved it. I thought it was pretty good. The one that stayed terrible for me throughout, though, is Godzilla. Godzilla sucks. I hate to break it to anybody who says, the new Godzilla movie is a fascinating movie. It goes back to the original where Godzilla only comes out for 15 minutes. Bullshit, dude. If you're going into Godzilla, you want to see Godzilla fight giant monsters, dude. You don't want to, or, wreck cities. You don't want Godzilla to just be in the background. Oh, hey, look, Godzilla's fighting. It's Godzilla. It's his entrance. Oh, let's show the first battle on a TV screen. Oh, let's just go ahead and close these blast doors. Thank you for whoever the hell directed that movie. Which, ironically, the director of Godzilla directed Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Rogue One is freaking amazing. Godzilla is terrible. What the heck happened there? Okay, Rogue One goes with its source material and blends in very well, answers questions, and it honestly, it's perfect. It has a great ending and everything. Godzilla sucks. What the hell's that? And Kong Skull Island was pretty good. I enjoyed Kong. Apparently, hey, listen, we wanted to see, they understand that we went into the movie to see the giant monster fight. That's what we got with Kong. We saw King Kong kicking ass, with a pretty good, with a pretty cool story on the bottom. So, it's not bad. In fact, I really enjoyed Kong Skull Island. Another movie, critically bashed. What the hell? I mean, I get it. You will have to be critics and you have to rate movies for how they are, but don't always listen to what critics say. Okay? Star Wars came out originally, it came out as a movie in 1977, but it had to get delayed, so they pushed out a book. They pushed out the novelization of it. Critics bashed the novel Star Wars. They said Star Wars was gonna suck, that Star Wars was gonna be terrible. The movie comes out to critical praise. It's one of the greatest movies in cinema history, and critics bash the book. The book isn't much different from the movie. Okay, now granted, it's an average story, really. The hero, the nobody who becomes the hero. They were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Naturally, they became heroes. The princess, the bad guy. I mean, it's a classic medieval story. The thing with Star Wars is the special effects. Okay. And that's why it was critically acclaimed. It kind of sucks, but don't always listen to what critics say, guys. I mean, enjoy it. Enjoy movies. Enjoy games. Enjoy books. Enjoy music. Enjoy life. Enjoy it. Don't always listen to critics, because I know a lot of my friends listen to critics, and they're not always right. In fact, a lot of times they're wrong. But, don't listen to critics, okay? They're not what's best for you. Just always go by your own judgment. Go by your own standpoint. That's really my view on critics, on the monster movies, on anything like that. And I guess that's basically the theme of this episode, is bashing critics. Critics, you guys suck. Okay. So I've said that I had some new collectible news, actually. Also this week, I was collecting, as you know, I collect Marvel Legends, like movies, like figures from the cinematic universe and comics. But the main thing I collect is cinematic universe. I never let a cinematic universe figure leave. If it's a Marvel Legends, I always have to get it, no matter who the character is. So when they release a Build-A-Figure from the cinematic universe, I literally have to get the whole damn wave just to build it. I'm being serious. I'm not even lying. And a wave is usually like 6 figures with the Build-A-Figure part, and you put those pieces together, and then you have a really cool figure. Well, the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 wave, the Build-A-Figure was Mantis from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And I was able to, finally Walmart here, they finally had something cool, and I was able to get the whole wave and finish my Mantis. I had bought Nebula before and Rocket Raccoon, both very, very good figures. But they released a new Star-Lord and a new Gamora. The Star-Lord is nothing really generally new. He has his trench coat and he has a scarf, but the mold isn't actually terrible. It's actually a pretty good mold. He has weapon storage, and the face looks like Chris Pratt. It's a lot better than the Guardians of the Galaxy the Guardians of the Galaxy 1 figure. So this one isn't cool. He even comes with the Walkman, and you can store everything on his belt, and he's not a bad figure. Needed for the Mantis Build-A-Figure. But the Gamora is really the figure that shines this series, because the Guardians of the Galaxy 1 Gamora was a terrible, terrible figure. It looked nothing like Zoe Saldana. The Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 figure, though, it does. It has a nice trench coat. It has weapon storage for her sword, because it comes with an unextended sword that you could store on her belt. And it comes with a gun, I guess you could say a gun blaster. So it's pretty cool. But there was like 2 other comic figures that I don't know who the hell they are. One's Adam Warlock. I know he's coming out in the movies now, but I don't care about Adam Warlock. It's he's a crappy looking figure anyways. And some guy named X Neo something. He's all gold and he looks stupid. So I just took the figure and now I'm turning around and selling him. Which, if anybody of you guys want, and you guys need an Adam Warlock or an X Neo, hit me up in the comments or check eBay. But the Build-A-Figure Mantis isn't a bad figure by any means. She has great posability, and the likeness is pretty good compared, to the actress. It looks like her, and it's just a nice coat of green. She has good paint apps, and the sculpting is pretty good. Not a bad Build-A-Figure. Granted, it kind of sucks because the Build-A-Figure is literally the size of a regular $20 figure, which sadly you need basically $120 just to create that figure. Hopefully it's the last time they do that. No, it's overall a good wave. The only figure I need left to finish my Guardians of the Galaxy set is Ego, the planet. Kurt Russell's character from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. He comes in a 2-pack with Star-Lord. And I haven't been able to find that 2-pack, but I will get him and eventually get Ego, so that way I can have a full set. The only other one, I still need to get, there's still a good amount of 2-packs I need to get. I need to get that one for Ego. I need to get the Spider-Man Homecoming 2-pack with a Tom Holland head Spider-Man and the Mark 47 Iron Man, which I don't even like that outfit, but I need to get it for my Homecoming set. I still need to finish my Vulture Build-A-Figure. The Vulture's not even a Build-A-Figure, but the Spider-Man Homecoming wave comes with the Vulture wings from the movie, and that's basically the Build-A-Figure. You build the wings, because it's got a pretty interesting wingspan. I still haven't been able to find the Vulture figure. In fact, the Vulture was actually at my local Walmart. I saw the box there. They had the figure. Somebody literally went through the trouble of ripping open the box, taking out the figure in the part, and just probably walking out of the store. What the hell is that? Really? You're gonna steal the figure? Just freaking buy it. Okay? If you're stealing like a figure like that, then you're just ruining it for the people that actually have the money to pay for it and are actually serious about collecting it. Okay? If you're going through the measure of just stealing it, just stop. That is one of the stupidest things, that I've had a rant about, is that. And I can't believe that somebody seriously just went through the trouble of doing that. It really pissed me off. So I still haven't gotten a bloody Vulture. I need Vulture, Cosmic Spider-Man, and this stupid Beetle just to finish the wings. But I turned around and sold the other figures because it's like 2 Spider-Man from Spider-Man Homecoming plus Vulture, so I'm going to keep those 3. But the other 3 figures I'm just going to turn around and sell because who the hell cares about Beetle, Cosmic Spider-Man, Moon Knight, and Tombstone? Which actually, it's 4 figures that I'm selling. Huh. But I still need to get the other 3, so that kind of stinks. But I will eventually finish that. But I am a completionist when it comes to the cinematic universe Marvel Legends. I don't like anything less than that. I have to get every figure. I still need a Mark III War Machine actually. He's in a 2-pack with the Dance Protocol Iron Man suit, which is like orange and purple, and it kind of looks stupid. But I just need the War Machine. That's pretty much it for this podcast. I really didn't have that much to talk about this week. Hopefully next week I'm able to see the Dark Tower or Atomic Blonde or something. So hopefully next week I'm able to bring out a movie review for you guys. Plus, not only that, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is releasing on August 8th, along with actually the Summer Games event for Overwatch. It's coming back with some new skins. So that should be something to look forward to and something to talk about that Friday, actually. Until next Friday, everybody. This has been Comic Kid Guru. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought about this episode. My apologies for the shortness of this episode. Nothing really happened this week. Enough happened this week, but nothing really new in movies and comments. But I hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget, may the Force be with you.